Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a little bit of a look at Shedinja. Specifically, we need to talk about why Shedinja has all of a sudden gone and had a pretty dramatic price hike. Yeah, that just went and happened. You see, the Shedinja we're talking about is the one that came around in Vivid Voltage, and to put it bluntly, up to now, it's not been a particularly, it's not been a particularly valuable card. If we head on over to TCG Player, you can see that actually it is a card that is worth like 14 cents. It's a very, very, very cheap card. It is a rare, but non-holo rares generally are not terribly expensive unless they're super playable, and Shedinja has not been super playable since it came out. And it's a super interesting card, because for free colourless energy, you've got the attack life squeeze, lets you put damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon until its remaining HP is 10. So basically, any Pokemon whatsoever, you can get 10 HP away from being KO'd, which is clearly amazing. But it's also got the ability Shell Survival that says put this Pokemon into play only with the effect of Ninjask's cast off Shell ability, and that's awkward. So, yeah. You cannot put it as your active Pokemon or on your bench, even during setup, even though it's a basic Pokemon. It doesn't work. Now, I suppose at this stage, most people are wondering, well, hang on a second, what's Ninjask doing? Well, that's the one that also came around in Vivid Voltage, and what this one says is, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may search for Shedinja and put it onto the bench. So you have to evolve up into Ninjask, and then you can put a Shedinja into play, and you can put it into play from your deck, which is kind of lovely, but it's still super, super awkward. So yeah, that's why Shedinja's not really seen any play. So then we get to the question of, well, alright, Wassy, what are you talking about today? And what I'm talking about today, and I'd noticed this, but I need to give a shout out to lovely Primal Lugia, because I'm going to use their image here. And they sent me this image. It's not actually their image, I'm lying to you. It's from ActivePokeCart0602 over on Twitter. And the lovely Primal Lugia sent this image to me, basically saying, hang on a second, did I miss something? And the answer is yes, we'll get to there in a second. And what we see is that there are a whole bunch of people buying out this Shedinja, and they're generally paying around about 1,300 yen for a playset. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that 1,300 yen is some huge amount of money. It's not. It's about $10, or it's about £8. But considering this is a card that TCG Player is listing for 14 cents, all of a sudden $10 for a playset starts seeming, honestly pretty dramatic and pretty huge. So we got to ask the question of, well, hang on a second, Wassy, have I missed something? What's happened? And the answer is yes, and ditto. You see, the other day I showed you the Ditto from Pokemon Go. Now, incidentally, when I showed you the Ditto from Pokemon Go, I gave you a fairly hyperbolic statement. I told you this was the coolest gimmick Pokemon had ever done with one of their cards, and I mean that very sincerely. I think it's absolutely brilliant and amazing, and I absolutely love it. Although, I should say, many years ago, they did a Lenticular Deoxys, which was released as a promo card in the movie commemoration versus pack Sky Splitting Deoxys. Shout out to the lovely folks over at Bulbapedia for that information. And it's one of those cards that you can basically move and then the picture changes. We've all seen them. We've seen stuff like this since we were kids. It literally, you move it and the way the light hits it turns it into two different images. It's brilliant. That was an extremely cool gimmick. I don't believe the lenticular one was released in English. Do correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong about that. My point is, after that, that's the only real competition, but I think the winner is Ditto. Because the way they're doing Ditto in Pokemon Go is that some cards are going to have a Ditto little symbol on, and If a card's got that Ditto symbol, and this has been confirmed, this is very clear, cards with a Ditto symbol are not legal for tournament play. You cannot play them. But what you do is you peel the sticker off, because there's a sticker, and actually it's not a Bidoof card, it's a Ditto. The reason why it's not legal for tournament play is very simply because the card's got a sticker stuck on top of it, so it will be, I imagine, noticeably thicker than your average Pokemon card, so clearly you can't have it legal for tournament play for fairly obvious reasons. Okay, fine, that makes sense. Also, as a side note, because I did muse on this in my video the other day, there is a possibility that any card could be Ditto. The overwhelming likelihood is it's going to be like it is in Pokemon Go the game, which is to say there are a few Pokemon that could be Ditto, and no others can, because otherwise it's going to be too expensive. I don't think it'll just be Ditto, that's a bit boring, but there will be a few common cards that could end up being Ditto, and they're the only ones that are going to have that symbol on. It's a really cool gimmick. But we're not talking about the gimmick today, we're talking about the ability Sudden Transformation. This Pokemon can use the attacks of any basic Pokemon in your discard pile, except for Pokemon with a rule box. So you can't copy Pokemon V, Pokemon GX, etc., but you can copy any basic Pokemon's attack when it's in the discard pile. And this has made everyone turn around and look back at Shedinja and go, well, hang on a second, doesn't that make Shedinja approximately 1 billion times more exciting? And the answer is yes. Yes, it does. Because I told you that Shedinja has an amazing attack called Life Squeeze. And I also told you that Shedinja is too awkward to use because of Ninjask. And we know it's too awkward to use. That's not really an opinion at this stage, because it's been legal since Vivid Voltage. It's on the verge of rotating out, although let's be clear, there are going to be a few months between Ditto coming out and Shedinja rotating, so that is going to help quite a lot. We're going to have some time where we can play it. And this is brilliant, because now, instead of using Ninjask to get it into play, which we've proven through, years of tournaments is too awkward, all you need to do is just get it in the discard pile and then go and copy it with Ditto. And the thing is, anything can then be put on 10 HP remaining. Now, there are a few different ways you can go with this. What you could do is go into the expanded format, and then expanded is nice and easy. We've got your Hypnotoxic Laser, which is an item card that poisons. So, yeah, just use that. Hypnotoxic Laser will work absolutely fine. Poison them, take them down to 10 HP, and then, of course, at that stage, yeah, they're definitely going down. The poison will get them. The equivalent at the moment in Standard is probably Garbodor, but Garbodor is a little bit awkward, I think it's fair to say. This is the one that came around in Rebel Clash, and if it's a stadium in play, you can poison your opponent's active Pokemon. So essentially here, you just have Garbodor on the bench, poison their active Pokemon, and then you can bring them down to 10 HP and they get automatically KO'd. It's a little bit awkward if I'm honest with you, but it is absolutely a possibility. It's something to bear in mind. But then you've got really awkward plays. You've got stuff like, Yoga Loop comes to mind for me. This is the Metacham, the one that a lot of people are playing around with at the moment because it's clearly brilliant, where you get to drop 2 damage counts on one of your opponent's Pokemon, but if you take a KO doing so, you take the next turn. So what you can essentially do here is leave them with 10 HP remaining, and then get the KO with Yoga Loop. That is, of course, very awkward, because all your opponent needs to do is heal with something like a Cheryl, and then all of a sudden that's all taken away, which is a little bit awkward. Yoga Loop plays are fun, but it is a risky thing to do, you have been warned. My point is, Garbodor will work, and in Expanded, Hypnotoxic Laser will work. And unless your opponent heals, Yoga Loop will work. And what we've got is this card that is instantly gone from being absolute binder fodder. It's a non-holo rare that you really don't want to pull in your pack. Yes, it's got lovely artwork from a pretty popular artist, I think is fair to say. People like Camilla. But also, it's proven to not be good. But now, all of a sudden, the price of that is spiking because a lot of players are looking at this going, well, hang on a second. I can use Ditto to copy it, and now all of a sudden this is a legitimately viable deck. It's something to absolutely keep an eye on. Is this going to become like a $50 card? No, obviously not. And I ain't going to insult you by telling you it is. But is it going hugely spiking in terms of value? Yes. You know, it's gone from like a 14 cents card to like a $3 card, which might not seem like much, but, you know, go and divide 300 by 14. You know, you get 21. It's 21 times, it's like 20 times as valuable as it used to be. That is significant, ladies and gentlemen, and it's partly significant because it's cool and interesting. And it's partly significant because when you see a jump like this, the players are saying, we think this is a good card, this is super interesting, and that means it is absolutely something you need to keep an eye on. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about this. I want to know if you think it's viable. I want to know anything you want to tell me. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.